Trimbaugh, White-Rodgers. Glad he's here tonight. Going to go through some, I think, really good training for us. We do have several members streaming online with our video training, so hope you can hear us okay. Please feel free to chat any questions, and we'll get those answered. So turn it over to Joe.
Thanks, Christy. Thanks, Jackson Systems, for inviting me to come for the training session. I tried to put together kind of a dynamic training piece. It's something new. We haven't tried it before. It's got some new material in it, so I'm kind of excited to talk to you guys about it and see what you think, try to get your feedback. I did bring some new toys, so the people that are online, if you're online, we had some packets that we passed out behind your chairs. If you grab that packet behind your chairs, there's literature in that packet, so grab those packets out and you'll find that literature inside those chairs. So if you're online, and you would like the same packets that we're passing out in the classroom, just email me at joe.trimbach, my name's up there, at emerson.com, and I will email you a packet. All right? A goodie packet. If you forget, email Christy, right? And
I'll put my web address, or I'll put my email address and your word in the chat.
There you go. And she'll get the email to me, and I'll make sure that you guys get a packet. Michael, how are we doing? Okay?
We're doing good.
Great. All right. So my name's Joe Trimbach. I'm with White-Rodgers. We're a division of Emerson, a business unit of Emerson. We have about 70 different business units out there. Some of the ones that you may be familiar with are the Ridge Tools, the Closet Maids, Incinerators, Copeland. There's more, on and on and on. So White-Rodgers is a unit out of St. Louis. I'm out of Dayton, Ohio. But I travel several states. I'm the district manager. So if you ever need anything or need an email or need me to come out and want to talk about a product, I get phone calls all the time from contractors. Today I had 2 or 3 phone calls today about questions. They're usually pretty simple. If I can't get the answer done, I'll usually get one of our tech service guys involved, and we'll do a little conference call. So I can usually figure it out that way if I don't know the answer. It's usually not too bad. All right, we'll dig into that goodie bag. So inside the goodie bag is a brand new piece from White-Rodgers. This is called the gas valve cross-reference piece. We haven't had a gas valve cross-reference piece in the past. We have had a visor card that we've used in the past, and that's also the other piece that you see inside your booklet. These 2 pieces. So I'm just going to talk briefly about the gas valve cross-reference booklet, since I'm assuming everybody's doing some type of service work, or you know somebody that's doing some type of service work. Well, this is a pretty detailed piece. If you flip over to page 5, it's kind of my favorite page, you'll see where it talks about all 3 of the different series gas valves that White-Rodgers makes. There's a C, an H, and a J valve on that page. But it gives you a quick, easy breakdown of all the operations, the applications that we have on our gas valves. Over the past 25 years, White-Rodgers is anywhere from 50 to 65% of the OEM gas valve market. So there are millions and millions and millions of gas valves out there in the field that White-Rodgers has. So there's a good chance if you open up somebody's furnace, you'll see a White-Rodgers gas valve inside of it. So hopefully you guys have seen our valves and seen our products out there in the field. Now, I guess it'd be even better if you haven't seen them. That means that they're not breaking down, but they're pretty reliable. If you'll notice on the applications side of things, where it says opening characteristics, you'll notice there's fast opening, slow opening, 2-stage gas valves. And some gas valves have certain applications they'll work with, and some gas valves have other applications. So the J valve, although is one of our smaller valves, right, offers you 2-stage slow opening and fast opening, whereas a 36C valve does not offer you 2-stage offering. So we have 3 different types. The J is the smaller model. You may have seen the J. It's kind of slim. As the furnaces got smaller and smaller and smaller, so did the gas valves. So the H and the C are more universal in nature, okay, and they handle bigger applications up to 300,000 BTUs, where the J valve would typically handle under 140,000 BTUs. Okay, but their typical residential application would hopefully be under 140,000 BTUs over the last 25 years. All right, that's range of operation. If you flip it over to the next page, you'll see where it says 36C nomenclature, 36H nomenclature, and 36J nomenclature. Probably great reading if you're trying to fall asleep. But a lot of times you'll pick up a gas valve and you'll think, hey, what does that 36C blah 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 mean? Right? I didn't know what those numbers mean. Well, we actually break it down the numbers and we'll give you some information. So, hey, after a dash, there's a number 1, 2, 3, or 4. Well, if it's a dash 1, then it's a half by 3/8. If it's a 2, it's half by half. If it's a 3, it's a half by 3/4. If it's a 4, it's 3/4 by 3/4 gas valve. So each number means something different on a gas valve. Okay? So just good information to know. And if you pick up a valve, you'll know a little bit about that gas valve before you set it back down. We do have new gas valve boxes that are just starting to appear at the wholesalers. If you see those boxes, we have cross-reference on the box now, product specs on the box. The box has really changed. There is a QR reader on the box, so you can scan it with your phone, pick up the information on your phone, and it'll send you right to our webpage about that gas valve. So, great stuff. If you go on and you're flipping on through the application box, you'll see there are system applications for hot surface ignition, direct spark ignition, and standing pilot ignition, even proven pilot. And then as you go through it, you'll see there's 36C series. We break that down. The H series, we break down those valves. Talk to you a little bit about those. And then my favorite page is on page 14, and you'll see the product accessories on that page. So he's here. All right. So the applications, the product accessories are on this page. Depending on what valve you have, a lot of times I'll get a guy and have call up, have a question. You guys ever try to convert a valve from a standing pilot to a propane? From natural gas to propane?
Sure.
Okay. So how do you find that accessory for that valve? Now all you need is all this information is right here. So depending on if it's a C, an H, or a J valve. All right. And then lastly in the book, well, it's full of cross-reference information. Okay? So the last 10 pages are all cross-reference. All right. So that's the brand new gas valve. If you guys are online, if you'd like to have a booklet, like I said, send me an email or send Christy an email and we'll get you out a booklet. All right. I'm also going to briefly cover, since it's kind of our handy-dandy visor card, it's our Bible. This is the Dash 12. It's one of the latest visor cards for White-Rodgers. It's thermostats on one side and all of our universal controls on the back, okay, including all the cross-reference. And you'll notice there are 4 gas valves, HSI, DSI gas valves on the top. Those 4 gas valves cross over 500 different gas valves. Over 500 different gas valves out in the field. So that's a great tool to have. I love the cross-reference. Guys talk about it all the time, the visor card. If you need a visor card, this is the Dash 12. Got lots of great information inside of it. And then later on in the presentation, I'm going to tell you why you don't need the visor card anymore. After I just got done telling you, we have a visor card. Because we have some other great tools that make the visor card almost obsolete. All right. Any questions on the gas valve cross-reference or the visor card? I just want to explain to you what's in the packet. White-Rodgers has a brand new, I can't call it a product, but we'll call it White-Rodgers Education Central. It's a brand new web service, web-based product service, and it's designed for you guys in mind. So we were talking earlier in the class about, it's nice to come in to see a presenter, talk to the presenter. You can see and touch and feel the products, but sometimes you don't have the time to do all that training and you like to do it on your own. Well, we now have that availability, that service available on the web. So you can go out to the White-Rodgers Education Service, or Education Central, and do it yourself on your own time. I'm going to jump into it and show you a little bit about this so you can see it. We could probably spend the entire class just on the White-Rodgers Educational Central. All right. So this is the White-Rodgers Education Central website. You basically log in, give it a password, your login information. It'll set up an account. It is a free service. And from this service, we offer several different packets that you can train yourself on. So we have newswire information on the 36H gas valve, the 50T35 ignition comparison. We have the blue EasyReader Thermostat, which is always one of the more popular, the Easy Set, the wireless Easy Install. This is all, brand new, and we're adding more information to this all the time. So if you haven't seen it, it's great stuff. You can also get to our White-Rodgers mobile apps from here, as well as our wireless Easy Install information, and find us on Facebook. So lots of good information. All right. So I'm just going to cover one packet of information, the wireless Easy Install. All right. So let's say you've got some time and you know you're going to install a wireless product, and you like the Easy Install product from White-Rodgers. And you say, you know what, I'd feel a lot more confident about it if I could train myself on it, if I knew something about it beforehand. And right? So you'd either pick up the phone and call Mike or Ray or Doug, right, and hope they were around and could walk you through the thermostat. Or maybe you could email me. Or, what you could do, you could jump online and hit launch on the Easy Install overview. So I'm going to take you through it, explain to you how it works. So, course instructions. So the course instructions, it's pretty simple. It's not real long. They're 10 minutes, right? And they have an assessment at the end. So not only do you learn about the product, but at the end of the product, you take a test, right? And you'll either pass or fail. You can go back and take it again if you fail it. So we want you to learn the right answer, right? And it's a simple, usually like 4 questions, 5 questions. And once you've kind of grasp the product, you're on to the next test. So course objectives, right? Educate distributors and contractors on the easy wireless install comfort control systems. All right.
Hey, Tim. Dave. Yeah, I'm at the coffee shop. Yeah, I got a problem, customer, and I hear you got a new thermostat that might help me out, and could you come over and give me some info on that? I'd appreciate it. Thanks. Tim.
Hey, David, how you doing?
Glad you made it.
Good seeing you.
You too. Look, I've got a problem, customer. I don't know why they're having such a difficult time, but they seem to be with both. I showed them both the digital, the mechanical, and I heard you have a different option, or a better thermostat maybe, or something that will accommodate these people. They seem, I showed them everything, and they just, I can see it in their eyes. They don't feel comfortable with what I'm showing.
Well, I think we do have something, David, that's going to work really well for you. It's called the Emerson Blue Easy Set. It happens to be this thermostat right here. Take a look at this.
Wow.
What do you see different about this thermostat?
Oh, I see these just three icons across the top.
That's how you change the temperature. What does it say on there?
Home, sleep, away. Okay, that's pretty straightforward.
Pretty straightforward, and you can program a temperature in to any one of those preset temperatures, and all you do is hit the button, it'll go to the temperature you chose.
Okay.
You don't have to worry about trying to turn a dial or up a lever or push a button up and down. You hit one button and it goes.
Okay, so if I hit home,
it'll go to the temperature that you would set for home.
And you set that with the up-down button?
Yeah, let's do it real quick.
Okay.
Pick a temperature that you want to have when you come back from work. What temperature would you like to have, and say heating?
Okay, I got 70.
70?
Yeah.
Great. Now go to the home button and hold it down for 3 seconds. You're now done. After you do that, Dave, every time you hit the home button, it'll go to 70 degrees. Sleep, you can put a different temperature in. You can make it cooler if you choose to. And away, when you're at work, you can take a third temperature and program it in that quickly. It takes 3 seconds. And all you do is hit the button whenever you need to change the temp.
So I leave, hit the away button.
Yep.
And it goes to whatever number's in there.
Yeah, 70, 68, whatever number you want to choose. It's that easy. That's what I love about this thermostat. More importantly, what's really neat about this thing, it does not have a time set on there. You choose when you change the temperature, not the thermostat. With Rambables, you get a 5-day programmable. You choose the same time every day, right?
I do, like 4 days.
I never keep the same schedule on a day. I come home at different times. I go to sleep at different times. With this thermostat, I'm going to choose when the temperature is going to change, not the thermostat. That's what I love about the Easy Set.
I think I'll really like it.
I think your customer's going to like it too, Dave.
So, wow. Okay, well, thanks.
You're welcome.
Good to see you. And
You gonna get a copy?
No, you'll take care of this, and I assume you will take care of a freebie or two.
What, I gotta buy the coffee and give you a thermostat?
I should hope so. I deserve it.
All right. We'll talk to you later, Dave.
All right, take care.
All right, man.
I just wanted you to take a quick look at the videos. We have the same videos on YouTube, but we take this the video and let you look through it, and then we actually go through it and ask you questions at the end. So I really wanted to just show you a little bit about what is available on the White-Rodgers Central. It's a great tool. It's a great way to get your customers or the wholesaler. It's a great way to get the contractors engaged. And if you haven't put on a product, a lot of times there's information on the central site that you can go to and go through it and see it ahead of time. Okay. Anybody gone in and taken a class online before? Any guys? Nobody has? All right. Well, it's a great way to learn. And it's sometimes it beats driving around Indianapolis in traffic. Right? All right. So I chose the Easy Wireless for a reason. And not so much to talk about the EasyReader or Easy Wireless, Easy Install platform, but to kind of get you into that frame of mind thinking about wireless products and Wi-Fi products that are out there in the field, because we're going to talk a little bit about those. Okay? So I threw up the same cut sheet that Dave and Tim were talking about, and talking about wireless products. So I need to get a show of hands. How many guys in the classroom, and maybe even online, have installed a wireless product, not a Wi-Fi product, but a wireless product? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 guys. Okay, Jackson Systems has how many, Doug, wireless products do you guys sell? 12 to 15 different products that are all wireless. So you get into a situation where you can't pull wires, or you want to go to a spot where pulling a wire is next to impossible. These are great products. So the guys that haven't put one on, I just have to ask you, why haven't you put one on yet? Is there something you weren't really sure? If you wanted to try something, you weren't really sure how it worked?
Probably price point.
Price point? Okay. How about you? Just not confident in the product, or?
I'm installing.
Okay.
Really.
You just wouldn't get into that yet, but maybe soon.
Yeah.
All right. How about you guys?
No customer interest right now.
No customer interest in it? Okay. Anybody else? No? How's the food? Good. All right, well, I heard price point, and we have products that are, they do pretty well. I mean, we're seeing the prices, come down to the point where if you think about how much time and labor you get into when you're installing a product and pulling wires, you might spend a half an hour, 45 minutes, maybe an hour pulling wires, right? And if the company's charging whatever you're charged, might be $100 an hour, right? All of a sudden, the price of the thermostat becomes a lot less when you don't have to run those wires. So, could be a great solution. So don't let price always get in the way. So I'm sure Jackson will find something. But the White-Rodgers product isn't. It's not a touch screen. It's priced right for the marketplace, and it gives you some really cool features. All right. So besides price, we get a lot of people that ask that question a lot. How does it work? What type of obstacles do you have to overcome with a wireless product or a Wi-Fi product, right? And if you think about your house, how many guys have a wireless router in their house? Couple, 1, 2, half the guys have wireless routers in their house, right? So, wireless connectivity in a house or light commercial environment, there's some things to think about when you're installing a product, and so my plan here is just to try to get you at ease on these products when you're thinking about what you're putting in. So some things to consider would be, interference, other Wi-Fi products that are running at the same time. Maybe how far you're going to go. Tim just mentioned this product can go up to 100 meters, okay, and line of sight a lot further. With new technologies, and I'll tell you about it in a second, we're seeing that distance get even further and further and further out. So as technology changes and gets better, 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 you'll find these products will go a lot further. What creating a connection means is it's secure. Can anybody jump on my router, right? Or can anybody get on the Wi-Fi? If I open my garage door, is that going to cause a problem? And then timing and reliability too. So we want something that's going to be reliable. We don't want to put something in a house that the homeowner doesn't feel comfortable with. And so all the products that White-Rodgers make on our digital thermostats have 5-year warranty. All right, so I'll give you a little blurb. We've got I think a spectrometer reading up here. One of our engineers took a picture, and he's looking at all the interference in a typical house. And if you think about a typical house and interference, I put in your packet, there's a little 20 myths, right, of Wi-Fi interference. And it's just good reading if you're considering doing something. Just kind of dispel all the myths that might be out there in the field. White-Rodgers is working on something right now to kind of the wireless stuff for dummies, and helps me, help you guys, and helps your customer. So we want to be able to make you feel more confident when you get into a situation. Hey, I think this application will work great, and I think it'll be a perfect application for a wireless product. So anyhow, back to the interference, and you can see there's different levels of interference running in this house, and each one of those little humps and bumps and colors is a different wireless product being used in an area where that picture is being captured. So even the blue dots behind the area, right, are different types of wireless products being used. So, and it's not uncommon. If I was thinking about my house, anybody have an Xbox in their house? Anybody got kids with Xbox? So I've got a cell phone, right? You've got a router. I've got an Xbox. I've got a Bluetooth earpiece. You might have a laptop, wireless laptop. You could have all. I've got. I know what I've got. I've got a DirecTV, which works off of a router signal right in my house. So we've got lots of different products. And if you stop and think about it, you're probably using all types of products that are wireless in your house. Maybe you didn't know about it. Okay. I'll tell you a little bit about our product. We use in that wireless Easy product, we use a product that transmits power out to at about 18 decibels. That 18 is just about at the limit. I think 20 is the limit from the FCC. So, and then we have a receiver at the other end. So you basically transmit and receive, and we have what we call a transceiver on our stuff. So they talk together at the same time, back and forth. Okay, and they know when they're talking to each other, which is really cool technology. The receiver sensitivity is about minus 83 decibels. And if you put the two together, the new transceivers, you'd have what they call a link budget, and that's the 100 decibel budget. Okay? And there's a reason I'm telling you all this, and I'll show you here in a second, so you can kind of break down that whole budget deal. So total path is your transmitter to receiver is about 100 decibels. And like I said, we have brand new products all the time. We're always increasing the length of that transceiver. So our new link budget will increase from about 100 to about 133 within the next year, which will be great because we'll be covering almost 50% more distance with that new radio. They call a radio inside of our wireless product. All right, so what did I tell you? 100 decibels? Well, how far does 100 decibels go? Okay, so if you were running, remember, line of sight, it can go a long way. But the average house where you're going to install a wireless product, right, isn't line of sight. You're typically going to go through a bunch of walls or floors. So if you went through a wall, right, you'll see maybe a wood stud or drywall. You're going to lose 3 to 5 decibels by going through wood wall or wood studs and drywall. If you add tile, you're going to increase that decibel loss 7 to 10 decibels. If you go through floors, if they're wood floors, hardwood carpeting, 5 to 7. Add tile to the floor, a little bit more. Additional causes of signal loss, mirrors, metal furniture, and appliances. I can tell you that on the first install, of course my first install we did a wireless product on. It was at my sister's house. We were doing some testing. And we installed the product, hooked it up, took the thermostat upstairs, 2 flights. Okay, old house, built in the 1800s. 18-inch limestone walls, right? Old hardwood floor. It used to house horses in it, I guess. It's really serious stuff. It's in Columbus, Ohio. It's a pretty new house, actually. Big old, wood joists that are huge. So we hooked it up, fired it up, nothing, right? Didn't get any signal up to the second floor. I'm thinking, well, here's our first application. So we went back and we had one of the engineers come out and we looked at it. So we were looking at this situation and we're like, okay, we've got it mounted in a corner, right, where the furnace was on one side. We had metal panning up top, hot water tank about 5 feet away, 4 feet away. We had the limestone wall, and then we had another limestone wall right behind us. So we had kind of an L-shaped limestone wall. And then we had a metal, it wasn't a metal router, it was a metal bracket sitting next to it too. So we were kind of encased in metal, right? And so the engineers looked at it and said, let's try taking it from that side of the furnace to the other side of the furnace. And as soon as we did, the signal was off the chart upstairs. So wireless signals don't like metal. And if you have a cell phone, ever go to a metal building, how much reception do you get inside of a metal building? No. Not so much, right? Same way with metal. So metal and wireless signals are not your friend. So I'm just giving you some examples. Sometimes moving the radio as far as 6 inches can make a difference. All right, additional signals loss. Brick wall, it's about 10 decibels. Stone wall, about 10 decibels per 6 inches. Concrete wall, about 25 decibels. Poured concrete wall, about 40. Stucco, 25. Stucco over mesh, 30 to 35. Plaster, lathe, popular in the 40s and 50s. You know the kind I'm talking about, real thick. You'll lose 30 to 35 decibels as well. And then insulation with a foil on it can actually lose 25 decibels. So remember I was telling you about that metal. It could be a real thin piece of metal as well. Large ductwork surrounding a unit, that's what I ran into, right? 40 to 50 decibels. Add 0.2 decibels per foot for open air. So if you're just doing open air, you'll see where it happens. So we gave you a typical application here. Typical application, you have 4 to 5 walls that you're going to go through, right? You're losing about 25 decibels. If you go 1 to 2 floors, about 14 decibels. 10 meters away, you're 30 feet, you're about 6 decibels there, so your total is 45 decibels. So how many decibels do we have to lose? Remember? 100, right? And actually the new equipment's got a little bit more. So this solution would be perfect for that application. And that's a pretty typical application that we see out in the field. We've installed thousands of these out in the field. I can't think of too many applications. I can think of where guys had called up and said, hey, I'm having trouble, and we've had guys go out in the field and look at it and say, hey, could you move it to the other side of the piece of equipment or over here? And as soon as they did, no problem. So a lot of times it's just using common sense. What my thought today is to make you understand how that stuff affects your radio signal back and forth. Okay. So you got to create that connection. All of our devices use transceivers, which means they talk back and forth at the same time. If you make a connection, if you press a button up and down, that wireless thermostat is going to talk right away to the unit, right? Otherwise, it may not talk for quite some time, okay? Because it's running on battery power. So they don't want to talk all the time or it runs its batteries out. Security. System devices are only visible to other wireless devices while they're creating a connection. So if they're not talking, you don't see it in the spectrum. Okay? So if you put a wireless product in the house and you pulled up the laptop and you were looking for all the gigahertz signals, right? You're not going to find it. It's not going to be there. It's encrypted. Timing. Battery-powered devices are on the air for limited amounts of time and may connect as little as once every half an hour. So unless there's a big change in the temperature of the thermostat, it's not going to go out there and talk back and forth to the receiver. And once again, human activation. If you push a button, they're going to talk back and forth. Hey, the homeowner wants to change the temperature, wants to change the system, wants to bring on the blower, whatever the case may be. All right, reliability. Connections are bonded and communications is encrypted. Once again, we want to ensure that the system isn't going to be mistaken for another wireless product in the house. Devices are hidden, so you cannot see them with your router or with your laptop. Interference is expected. Matter of fact, we plan on there being interference in your house. Okay? So we try it different ways, and the system we'll retry just to make sure it gets the signal through. Okay. Wireless link and battery power problems are expected, so we try to anticipate just about everything we can. And the devices have built-in strategies to operate in the event of no up-to-date information. So with our product, we give you a sensor that goes in the back. If the batteries would fail on the thermostat itself, the sensor would take over, right, and run your fan and maintain a certain temperature in your house. So if you had a failure on the stat, you still wouldn't have a house freeze up or burn up. Okay? So it's a very good system for an event of an emergency on the stat. You still have a backup, and it won't operate without the backup in place. In other words, you can't hook it up. All right. Any questions on the wireless before I go to the next section? Web-based contractor sheets. If you haven't been to the White-Rodgers site before, we have some really cool web-based contractor hot sheets. We call them hot sheets. They're basically customizable literature that you can imprint yourself, put your logo. Does anybody run customizable literature right now on the job? Sales guys, you do? You make it yourself?
They do.
They do for you?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So you can do it right off our website or have Jackson do it. I have several wholesalers that call me, hey, can you help me set it up? Ours takes a minute. You can put your logo on it. You can customize it. Hey, we're going to Indianapolis Home and Garden Show this week. Free thermostat with the purchase of a system, or 25% off today. Whatever you want to put on it. Your name, logo, it's all customizable. As you can see here, maybe you can't. I put in Joe's Heating, my address, put in my logo, then I put in free wireless outdoor sensor with dual fuel purchase, and you can put a price in there if you want to. So we have several different pieces of customizable literature on the site, and it takes literally seconds to do it. It's real simple. Just go to whiterodgers.com, click on Contractor, and you'll see it about halfway down the page, customizable literature, hot sheets. Pretty neat stuff. It's real simple to do and easy to do it. If you guys are interested in that, stick around afterward. I'll jump on the web and show you how to do it. It doesn't take very long. We'll talk about the SureSwitch. It's a brand new universal contactor, but it's not a mechanical contactor like a contactor that you guys have seen in the past. It's a digital contactor. It's brand new from White-Rodgers, and I say it's brand new. It's actually been out in the field for about 6 years on the OEM side, but it looked a little bit different, and I'll show you that here in a second. So if we're talking contactors, right, any ideas why contactors fail? I'm sure you guys have replaced 1 million contactors in the field. Sparks? Okay. Dave, if you pick up a contactor today on the system, you look at it and say it's failed because
the points get burnt.
Points get burned up.
Dirt,
bugs,
moisture.
dirt, moisture. Absolutely. I like all three. Cool. Anybody think of anything else? Contactors fail all the time, right? So we have a contactor that will take care of everything that we just mentioned about. So here's all those things we just talked about, right? Right? Contacts are damaged. They pitted. They welded together. They were arcing, right? You guys mentioned all those. They're open and closed under load. Firing. Big in the south, maybe not so big in Indianapolis. I don't know where everybody else is watching the video from, but if you guys are in the south, I'm sure they've seen fire ants in their contacts before. Something about bugs, they just love to get into contacts. I don't have to do with the electrical, the heat that's produced, or the arcing, the noise. Something about that attracts bugs. So we have, in Indianapolis, we have earwigs, spiders, mice. What else do we have jumping inside contacts? You mentioned dust and moisture.
Hard-shell bugs.
What's that?
Hard-shell bugs.
Hard-shell, those little roly-poly things?
Run a service call for nothing.
Yep, absolutely. So all those can cause a nuisance trip, right? And they're not so good on compressors. So Copeland doesn't want compressors back that are good, and especially if the contact failed and caused the compressor to go bad. So we have a better solution. All right, it's called a SureSwitch. So what do? We took the contacts and we encapsulated them and we sealed them up. So they're completely sealed inside this little blue box on the right. In your packet, I know a couple of you guys have already started getting them out. in your packet we have a little SureSwitch piece of literature, and so if you haven't seen it before, at least you've got a piece there to look at. On the left side are the contacts that are inside of our box after 1 million cycles. It looked like they did just when we started, brand new. Okay? Totally sealed. And we use a microprocessor. So there's actually a computer chip that we use, and it tracks, and it uses what we call a controlled switching algorithm, and it basically eliminates the welding and the pitting that you get with a normal set of contacts. So how do we do that? Everybody know that, right? 60 hertz, right? Inside, coming into your electricity. You've got 60 hertz, so 60 times a second up and down on that sine wave, right? So the microprocessor can see that sine wave going up and down, and it says, I'm only going to come on right when I cross that zero cross zone, right? A normal set of contacts, it doesn't know, it's not smart. So it can come on anytime on the arc zone, okay? So it can come on high or low, and then what happens? That pitting on the left, guess what that pitting's from? Do this because it's cooler to hear. So here's what the engineers say. Our patented switching algorithm watches the power line and only switches the load when damaging arc and heating are at the lowest, the zero crossing. This allows the SureSwitch to last up to 5 times longer, 1 million cycles. Inside each SureSwitch is a blue relay. We can picture that on the right. And then in addition, it's more reliable, and it's a feature that contractors like. So the sine wave depicts 1 cycle of alternating current. That's what you guys see up here. Current and voltage cycle between positive and negative, peaking 60 times. We talked about that 60 hertz. Crossing through zero between peaks. Arcing between contacts is reduced when you switch in the zero cross zone. But a standard contactor doesn't have those things. So the SureSwitch microprocessor watches the AC sine wave and keeps track of it when it crosses the zero cross zone. This happens twice per cycle, or once every 8 milliseconds. So if you think about every 8 milliseconds, that's a pretty short period of time, right? A normal contactor doesn't keep track of that. But the microprocessor in the SureSwitch does. So that's what makes it so dramatic. And that's what eliminates the arcing and the pitting and everything else that goes wrong. And that's what eliminates compressors coming back and motors coming back that are damaged because of the contactor was failing. I'll give you a little piece on the Copeland. Copeland liked it so much, they put inside the factory in Sydney, they hooked up a whole bunch of them to a rack of 5-ton scroll compressors. And they ran them over and over and over again. And checked the sealed relays, see how they ran. So they're very excited about it. Because they put long warranties on their compressors. They don't want them to come back, because they don't make any money on compressors that go bad. We also do the same type tests. So we test them what we call a halt chamber. And we test them for humidity. We test them for how they cycle over and over again. We try to 10-second on-off cycle time, 25,000 cycles over and over again. So we want to test to make sure they're going to last for years and years and years. 25 years, maybe longer. Remember, we tested these things, and they look brand new after 1 million cycles. So that's a pretty long lifespan. We give it a 5-year warranty on that product. Okay, I mentioned that some of the OEMs are already using them, and they have been. Matter of fact, since 2006, several OEMs have been using these products out in the field. And you may have seen some of these products already. Anybody come in contact with an OEM, and you open it up and say, hey, where's the contactor inside here? You said yes? Did you figure it out or not?
Yeah.
Did you? Okay, good. Good. Is it
Probably,
ring unit?
yeah.
Excellent. But if you look real close, I don't know if you guys can see this or not. See the blue box? You see the blue box? Guess what that blue box is? That's the same thing that's inside that SureSwitch. So what else do they do? Well, they've got lots of buttons on them. They've got 24-volt spades on the top, a tri-colored LED light. They've got a count button. So what's the count button do? If I push the count button, that tri-colored LED light will flash a code and let you know how many times the system cycled. There's a slide coming that tells you exactly what color flashes, determine if it's 10,000 cycles or 1,000 cycles or 100 cycles. There's also a test button, my favorite button, right? Now, the normal contractor, to get a contactor to come on, does what? First, lick the finger, and then put it into the contactor, right? Or, even better, is the best one. You grab your favorite metal screwdriver and then jam it into the 230 volt contactor. See if that works. These are kind of dangerous things to do. So we give you a button that you can push, right? That's on the top. You can't get electrocuted from it. But it says test button. It runs your equipment for 5 seconds. So we think that's a better way to get you to test a button. We also have, and I'll tell you about them here shortly, a brownout short cycle dip switch. We've got housing screws. There's 4 screws that house the base. So you'll see it in a second. There's 4 screws. The base mounts, and then the unit mounts on top of the base. And of course, there's the 240 volt line for the compressor, lug connections on the bottom mounting plate. And we have extra terminals for fan accessories and spades as well. All right, I mentioned inside that box, inside our SureSwitch, was our blue box. It's mounted on the back of that microprocessor. So if I pass this thing around, I don't know if you can see it in there or not. You might be able to. But it's on the back side of our microprocessor. So typically, if you notice, you've got the switch side runs up through the contacts and back out. The unswitched side, so this is unswitched, this is switched, so we'd call it a pole or a pole and a half, depending on how you look at things. You could replace a 2-pole unit, but it's simply a pole or pole and a half. Okay, not a 2-pole, not a true 2-pole contactor. There aren't too many 2-pole contactors anymore in the field on new stuff. It is rated at 40 amps. It was 30. We tested it at our factory to 33.6. That's as far as we could test. We sent it to UL. UL has approved it now. Everything in the field is 40 amps. So we thought that's what they would say. So if you see the literature or you see the boxes, it'll say 30, but it is approved at 40 amps. Size. The number one thing I hear is it looks like it's too big. Well, actually, it's shorter than a normal contactor. It's about 2 3/8 tall, and a normal contactor is about 2.5 inches tall. It is slightly longer and slightly wider than a normal contactor, but it's designed to be as close as possible. And then the base, I was going to show you the base. The mounting holes for the base are the same mounting holes that you'd have. It will look like this. Like I say, it can be mounted up and down, sideways, however you like to mount it. I mentioned it had 2 dip switches on it. The first dip switch is a short cycle timer. We build that into the contact. If you have a mechanical thermostat, you've always wanted to put a short cycle timer on it. We build this into the contact. So it's got a 3-minute short cycle protection built into the contact. You may or may not use it. If you've got a digital thermostat, you've probably got a 5-minute time delay on it already. But if you don't, you've got a way to do it. Okay? All right, here's my favorite. We have a brownout protection dip switch on it as well. So just like we were talking about earlier, you know, the East Coast has got a lot of power issues. And they're going to be going through several brownouts. And they probably already have gone through several brownouts. I know Indianapolis went through its share of power failures. Dayton, Ohio went through its share of power failures. So if your power gets below 180 volts on a brownout or a voltage outage, right, the contact shuts things down and will not bring back on your equipment until it gets above 190 volts. Okay? That would be the minimum. The SureSwitch will not attempt to restart it, right, until you get above that number, and then the voltage can be disabled, depending on if you put it on the on or off switch. What I like about it is this. Let me go to the next slide. We randomly bring up the power after a brownout from 5 to 90 seconds. So think about this. Thank you. If you lose power or you have a brownout failure, right, what happens when the power comes back on? Right? Refrigerator in this room. Refrigerator come on. If the microwave was on, it would come back on. I don't know. Lights are going to come on. This equipment's going to come back on. All Christie's equipment's going to come back on. Right? Think about your house. You've got lots of stuff that's going to bounce back on. If you're in a commercial building, how many things are going to come back on as well? So lots of different products are going to come back on, including your equipment. If there's multiple pieces of equipment, what's going to happen if it's in a neighborhood? You got another brownout going to happen because everything comes on at one time. So this SureSwitch delays that from happening from 5 to 90 seconds, which is a great way to save another brownout from happening and protect your compressor and your motor and your equipment. So I should have started out by asking guys, How many PMs do you do? Do you do any PMs? You've got to do preventive maintenance, right? So when you're out doing preventive maintenance, it's a perfect product to talk to homeowners about preventive maintenance, right? I noticed the last time I was out, we cleaned up your contactor, put a new contactor on. It looks like it's arcing again. Got the same pitting. Hey, would you like to put on a SureSwitch this time? Something that's going to guarantee it for 5 years, probably outlast your equipment. So, nice upsell for you.
How does that compare to a regular contactor in cost?
I don't know. Ray, what do you guys sell?
Regular contactor runs about $12 to $15.
$12 to $15.
Depending where you buy it.
So it's about 3 times what a regular contactor would be. 3 or 4. Yeah. But I mean, think about your trip charge that you're going to charge. You're probably going to charge X amount of dollars, $100.
You didn't ask what we sell it for. You said what it costs.
Exactly. Exactly. So I'll talk to you a little bit about the random focus. I did mention the test button, and it has a SureSwitch has a test mode, and it energizes the compressor for 5 seconds. And then I told you we'd also tell you how many cycles you'd get. You flash green, you get 10,000. Red, you get 1,000. Yellow, you get 100 cycles. So it'll let you know how many times the system is cycled. All right, LEDs on the top as well. All right. Any questions about the SureSwitch? Ray and Doug are going to give one away to one lucky customer on the way out the door. So I've got one to give away today, so that'll be kind of cool. Hope you guys like it. It's been very well accepted, and we're really, really excited about that new product.
Do they make those in a 3-phase?
God, I wish I had a dime for every time I heard that. We were looking at that right
We
now.
do mostly commercial.
3-phase, we're looking at all different types of that. Yes, other applications. Phase protection.
Is this the actual weight? Because it feels a lot lighter than a normal contact also.
That is the actual weight, yep.
Have you guys looked into doing airlines?
I'm not sure.
Because they do a lot of weight restrictions on military and aerospace.
Oh, airline. No, I don't know. That avenue is wide open. But I like your thinking.
That's what I do.
I like your thinking. Make your airline even your airplane even lighter.
What's that?
You go further with less fuel. Smartphone applications. So how many guys are using any other questions on the SureSwitch before I jump ship? It's a pretty cool product. All right. Smartphone applications. I see a couple of guys with smartphones. Who's got smartphones? Lots of guys got smartphones. Who's got iPad? Ah, very nice. Very nice. So I've got an iPad. I use mine all the time. You'd be surprised how many times a contractor will ask me for cross-reference information, or installation instructions, or how this product works, and I'm able to bring up my phone and show him. I have 2 things that I want to show you as far as smartphone applications, and then we'll be done. But the first one is well, I guess I should tell you, there are 6 different applications, 6 different apps for Emerson out in the field. So if you haven't seen our apps, they are free. If you have an Android phone, if you have an Apple iPhone, or if you have a BlackBerry phone, all these apps are free. So you can download them. Just go to your Play Store if you've got a Google phone or Android phone. If you've got an Apple phone, go to the App Store, and you can download them for free. Type in White-Rodgers or WR Mobile or Emerson, and most of those should come up. Okay? But there is a Crossref or XREF. Crossref for Copeland, called the XREF. That's a great cross-reference or great application tool. Matter of fact, Scott Lancer, one of the guys at Copeland that does that XREF, is getting ready to incorporate a lot of new features on their app. And when they do, that thing is really going to be packed full of great information. Matter of fact, every time I talk to him, I think he comes up with a new application for it, or a new feature for it. So stay tuned from Copeland. But if you've seen their app before, just to give you an idea what the app looks like. So there's the app. There's the app. And if you said, hey, I needed information on a ZR5 compressor, hit search, it would bring up all the ZR5 compressors. I need information on that one. There's your information. Okay? It's pretty cool. It's super slick. I didn't want to talk about every app on here, but if you haven't seen them, if you guys are doing commercial work, if you're doing work with Copeland compressors, that's a cool app to have on your phone. All right. One of the apps that I really like the most, And this is really a sales guy's app, a return on investment app, and an app that lets you go out and talk to a homeowner about why they should upsell to a new piece of equipment. Did you ever go in and talk to a homeowner? You said, Mr. and Mrs. McGillicuddy, man, you're going to love this new 16 SEER heat pump. It's awesome. Can't believe it. You got an 8 SEER right now. This is so much better. I mean, look at it. It's pretty. It's shiny. She's going to say, what's she going to say to you? How much money is that going to save you, right? That's what Mrs. McGillicuddy wants to know. Am I going to be comfortable? Am I going to save some money if I upgrade to a 16 SEER over the 8 SEER? So you've got to be able to show her that return on investment. So how many guys do that? How many guys have a tool that shows Mrs. McGillicuddy how much money she's going to save for first year, second year, third year? No. One.
Our office does. Not
Nice. You can do this on your iPad. You got an iPad?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So this is just called the eSaver. You enter your contractor information in, put in your region, Indianapolis, enter the job, and calculate cost savings. So I'll show you how easy it is. So let's put in John Smith, Dayton, Ohio. Enter the job. Okay, it's going to ask you, what type of job are you doing? Right? You're doing a furnace AC to furnace AC. So I've got a furnace and an air conditioner to a furnace and air conditioner. You can have heat pump to heat pump. Furnace AC to AC and heat pump. Or AC to AC. Whatever you want to do. Okay? Excuse me. The current system you'd have would be, in this case, it's like a 2-ton system. Right? 10 SEER. And if you would to replace it with a 2-ton system, 16 SEER. You could include the Copeland scroll variable speed option. This is this guy right here. And also the minimum option, which would be the 13 SEER. So chances are, she's probably got, or he's probably got, less than a 10 SEER. It's probably an 8, if that. In this case, it was a 78% furnace that you're going to replace. Right? And then the contractor's replacement. I think, what's code starting in January in Indiana? Is it 90%?
90%.
Seriously?
Yep. So, so lots of changes. So you're going to be able to, you're going to want to know, or want to be able to show, here's how much money we can save. So from there, you can go over here, right? Okay, select natural gas, propane, whatever type of oil, whatever you're going to replace it with. How many BTUs, the efficiency, the tonnage for the current system. And then hit calculate cost. And it'll plug in her old system, the 13 SEER. In this case, the old system wasn't saving her any money. It was burning money up. The industry minimum, the 13 SEER system, was going to save her 20% on her bill, about $200. If I move her up to the contractor's choice, that was the 16 SEER, I could save her $224. If I move her up to the variable speed heat pump, I can save her $521. It'll all depend on what your electric rate is, what your gas rate is, you know, how big your equipment is, and how far or how much difference you're going to go from what SEER to what SEER. But the nice part is, in relatively minutes, you'll have all the annual savings. You'll have an email to her that you can send while you're sitting at the table. Before you leave that house, she's got a bid with her return on investment, with your name and the PDF showing her our energy savings. And it looks pretty nice too. That's what it'll look like. It'll have your information down here and her information up here. All right. My favorite tool, well, that's the White-Rodgers mobile tool, obviously. I hope it's my favorite tool. It's our app. We just updated our app, and now it's really cool because it does a bunch of neat things. So, on our app now, with the enhanced version, remember I told you at the beginning of class, I said, and I'm going to show you a reason why you don't need that visor card. I don't know if I gave my visor card. I think I buried it. Oh. So, remember I had the visor card up and said, now, after I get done talking to you about it, with all the different cross-reference information, now I'm going to show you why you don't need it anymore, because we have it on an app. So the new app is really nice. It has enter your model number. It has a thermostat gas valve ignition module or igniter field at the bottom. And you can choose to select either way. So you can go through all the apps or all the products by entering a search number. and that'll pull up, say you did thermostats. That'll pull up, select by style. You can say, I want a 12-inch and a 6-inch style. So I want to look at the touch screens and the large 6-inch style, just like the EasyReader wireless we showed earlier. And then it's going to say, what kind of features do you want? Well, I want the Easy Series, programmable, non-programmable, single-stage, multi-stage, universal. What kind of feature do you want in that thermostat? And then it's going to give you choices. There's 2 touch screens and a 6-inch. There's your choices. So, here's how it works. White-Rodgers, looks like that. You could either enter a search number in there. So, if you said, hey, I want a 50A, I want to look at the 50A modules. It just pulled up all the 50A modules. I need information on that module. Now I need the installation instructions on that module. Now I need to know how that wires up. And you're done. I mean, that's pretty quick. You said, hey, I want to look at thermostats. I want to see all the touch screens that you guys offer to these features. I needed something that's wireless and universal. Hit go. Commercial. There you go. Commercial touchscreen. Fast and simple. So that would save you from grabbing a visor card, all right, and trying to figure out which thermostat you needed. It'll select it for you, just based on what features you want. You can do the same thing on the visor card, but it's a lot simpler on the app. Pretty slick. But if you go to your Apple App Store or to the Android Play Store and just type in White-Rodgers or Emerson, all the apps will come up. You can type in WR Mobile, and the White-Rodgers app will come up. So WR Mobile, gas valve section, same way. You can pick out a different type of gas valve, or you can use the gas valve piece that I showed you earlier. We also have boards and igniters on there as well, trying to help you pick out an igniter just by looking at it. How many times you guys grab an igniter and say, which type do I need to replace it with? Great way to do it too. So, lots of great site information, diagrams, bulletins. I was at an open house last week, 2 weeks ago, right, for wholesaler, and a guy called in, and hey, he's coming in. He was looking for a module with a certain amount of timing on it, and I pulled up my iPad, punched up the module, brought up the installations for the timing, blew it up when he walked in, laid it in front of him, done. Now, otherwise, we'd have gone rooting through the shelves trying to find the right igniter or the right module for him. So, I like it. It's gotten us away from having to look for a catalog, find a feature. Like I say, it's a pretty powerful tool. All right. There is distributor locator information on there as well. Lots of great stuff. Any questions on the apps? I only went over 2 or 3, but like I say, there's 6 different apps. Anybody have a PT chart in their pocket? I do. So there's a PT chart. There you go. You guys got a PT chart. There's a digital version, right? Now I can slide from Freon to Freon. I'll pull up. I don't think anybody puts in R600 Freon, but use R6. There's 502, 410. There's 410. 125 pound. 42.9 degrees. I can do super and subcool that way. Pretty fast. And I can flip it over to 22 or 134, R12. Nobody uses that anymore. Simple. Nice to have. Doesn't cost anything. Put it on your phone.
What's the name of the app?
This one is just called PT Pro. I'll have it up here if you guys want to come up and check all the apps out. They're fun. I mean, there's an HVAC fault finder from Copeland. If you've ever seen that one before, Copeland figured out a long time ago that they didn't want compressors back. And what they did is they went out and tested their theory. They said, okay, we'll set up this classroom with a unit and had contractors come in, right? And the experienced contractors that came in, they got the answer right a lot, right? 90% of the time, right? But 8 to 10% of the time, Copeland was getting back a good compressor. So they scratched their heads and they said, you know what? So White-Rodgers has those modules and they got like flashing codes on the modules. So the service guys can look at that flashing code, right, that diagnostic information, and it determines where the fault is. How can we help the service guy, right, work on a compressor or on a system in the outside, not on the inside furnace, but on the outside? Let's give them some diagnostic information. They tested the same thing with the junior techs, and they got lots of compressors back from the junior techs. So they gave a diagnostic product called a comfort alert module, and they put it in a system, and then they gave it to the senior techs, and they got the right answer every time. And the junior guys got it right 90-some% of the time. So they're pretty happy. So what's that tell them? If they give you more tools, you will find the answer a lot faster. It saves you time, and they get less back. So those are great products. So they have what's called a fault finder. And if you hit the fault finder and hit yes, say, yep, I have a compressor, a comfort alert module out in the field, and then you select, hey, which comfort alert module do I have? I've got this guy here. What's it doing? What's flashing? One red light. And then it'll walk you through step by step, to help you troubleshoot the system and ask you questions as you go along the way. So another great way to save time. And you can't always pick up the phone and call somebody. Sometimes you got to figure it out yourself, and this is a great way to do it. It's a good thing to have in your back pocket. Any other questions? Come on up. I've got the iPad running. I may have an extra hat. With a hat and a couple screwdrivers too. So once again, thanks very much. Email me if you have a question, joe.trembach@emerson.com, and I'll send you a packet of stuff too. Thank you.